I'm your host, Jaden, and today we're back here to recap Week 7 of the NFL and preview Week 8 here. Thank you guys for tuning in to the show once again. Glad to be back and talking football. So before we get started, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Check us out here on Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your favorite podcast. That's where we are. So make sure you check us out there. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube. We're on Spotify, also Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your audio podcast platforms. You can find us there. So let's get started. So, big takeaways for me from this week in the NFL. I mean, basically, you had a lot of surprises, right? Some teams, like, for instance, I didn't think – I said on the last podcast I did that the Lions and the Ravens game was going to be a very important game. It's going to be a huge test for Detroit. Like, probably the toughest game they were going to play outside of the week opener against Kansas City. Or the season opener against Kansas City in Week 1. I think that was the toughest game. The Ravens game was the toughest game they played outside of that game, right? And so just a matter of, the Lions just couldn't stop Baltimore. Baltimore played really well. Detroit really couldn't run the ball all that well either, and that was the issue. And when you're playing against a defense like the Ravens, you have to be able to run the ball because they're going to make it really tough for you to throw the football. So that's another big component of it, I felt like, and it just didn't work out for them. And the Ravens are sitting right now at a good spot in the AFC North. Really, the whole division. I mean, you got the Browns who they beat San Francisco the week before. Then they go and beat Indianapolis in a thriller this past Sunday. So the Browns are sitting in a good spot. I believe they are 4-2 on the season right now. So that to me, that's just like. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. I mean, it's still early on in the year, right? We're kind of at that close to the halfway mark in the season. So you're still starting to see who these teams are starting to figure themselves out to be. And the Browns, we know their defense is good. We know they're legit. But offensively, it's just the struggles. You're not having their top running back, with Nick Chubb being out for the season. And the quarterback rotation with P.J. Walker starting the last couple of games or, coming in the last couple of games, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, right? I believe I said his name right. Number 17 for the Browns, good quarterback. But yeah, until Deshaun Watson comes back, which we don't know when that'll be, with an injury like that, it's kind of hard to tell. Personally, I'm not an expert on that, so don't quote me. But I mean, generally reasonable to say he should be back. At least by I would expect him maybe week 13, maybe. Week 13 or 14 at the latest, definitely towards the end of the season. So depending on how Cleveland fares throughout these next 3 or 4 or 5 weeks, without him, they can show how good they'll actually be, as far as playoff contention is concerned. So that's something to watch out for. Another game that stood out to me, NFC South was a tight race with the Bucks and the Falcons. That game on Sunday, the Falcons ended up taking the win there, getting the win. Younghoe Koo hit a game-winning field goal to make it 16-13 was the victory for Atlanta. This was a game that Tampa Bay, really, the Falcons should have dominated this game. Like, they should have blown them out because Tampa Bay just was not clicking that much offensively outside of a few plays here and there. Connected with Mike Evans on a big touchdown, Baker Mayfield was. But other than that, he had like a so-so game. Wasn't all that great, and defensively they could not – defensively the pass rush wasn't as effective as it normally is when these two teams play with the Bucks. As far as the Bucks side is concerned, on their defensive line, they didn't get too much pressure on Ritter. I don't think they sacked him maybe like one time or so. Other times it was just him making bonehead decisions, but – I really think, honestly, speaking from a objective standpoint, from a neutral standpoint, as an analyst, not as a Falcons fan, but as an analyst, if Desmond Ridder can cut these turnovers down, this team, has potential. They have potential. Like, they have potential to win football games. Playoffs. Yeah, I say first round, wild card exit, maybe. Maybe even a win, right? I don't know. It's just this because the defense is good. The Falcons' defense ranks in the top 10 right now across all major categories. Even against the pass, which is something that they struggled mightily in that field the last couple of years, and now this year with Ryan Nielsen coming in from New Orleans and bringing that kind of mindset that he's had over there on that defensive side on that team, bringing that here to Atlanta, getting guys like Jesse Bates and David Onyemata, just adding a little bit more flair. Calais Campbell, a veteran on that defense. Just guys playing better all around. Jeff Okudah's been playing really good. Outside of, the penalties, which you got to clean up. Both sides, you have to clean up those penalties. They had a lot of penalties on Sunday. Some of them, of course, were ticky-tack, as always in the NFL. But that's just the way it is. That's football. But still, little things you can clean up, false starts, things like that. On the Bucs side, they got to clean up. And so, yeah, that tight race for the South continues. The Falcons currently lead it right now, sitting at 4-3 on the year, and they take on the Titans this Sunday, who announced that they will play both Malik Willis and Will Levis for some reason. So if Ryan Tannehill cannot start, which seems like he most likely will not play, so you expect to see a combination of those two players. So if how are your fantasy teams line up, whatever, I don't know, but just be prepared for that. They're going to be playing both of the quarterbacks, I'm assuming, in different packages, different offensive sets, personnel groupings. So I expect Levis, though, to start out the game. And Malik Willis probably brought in some running plays, some quarterback keepers, wildcat plays. So the Falcons are going to have to be prepared for that. But other than that, I think Atlanta's going to get a win here in Tennessee. The Titans just traded Kevin Byard. They're kind of in a rebuilding phase right now, or at least they are getting to that point, right? They're getting to that point, and it's just kind of imploding for them right now. So for Tennessee, just one of those things, man. You just don't know. The Titans right now, to me, they've got a lot of work to do. Along with some other teams as well, right? Rumors are the Broncos are expected to be trading a lot of people too. Camps, Cortland Sutton, Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, Patrick Surtain, basically all their big name guys, right? Reports are out now that the Broncos will be willing to trade them, because they're in a situation right now. You're tied down to Russell Wilson on the big contract for the next couple of years. You're paying him a lot of money. Sean Payton, you're paying a lot of money as well. So you have to find a way to retool the roster to make this work. Because right now, what they're putting out each and every week is just not good. It's just not good at all. I don't like what I'm seeing from Denver personally. It's just like, the defense isn't playing that well. Offensively, they're playing all right, better than last year, but it's just not enough of a consistent effort you put out each and every week. So that's just another thing you have to think about. And you think about it like, it's just one of those things where, I don't know, man. This trade deadline could be really interesting. Like, I see a lot of players getting moved. Like I said, we saw Kevin Byard get traded from Tennessee to Philadelphia, which is only going to help bolster that defense. Like, that it was already good, right? Saquon Barkley is not going to get traded. So for people, who thought Barkley was going to lead the Giants, he's not. Brian Daboll already told him, like, hey, we're not trading you. We're keeping you here. I heard everything that's going on, but we're keeping you here in New York. So Saquon will remain a Giant, at least for now. Derrick Henry might be on the move as well. Some teams that I would watch out for to trade for Derrick Henry. You can include, I'd say the Bucs could be one because their running game is awful right now. So you could say the Bucs. I could even throw out the Bills as a potential team as well. They're not their ground game is just something that hasn't really been established like in a while, like probably since LaShawn McCoy was there. They just haven't had like a running back. Like most teams you can identify like even if they don't run the ball a lot, but they have a running back that you can identify with them. That's kind of their that's their guy, right? That's their like the Austin Eckler and the Chargers. Whoever it might be, like the Bills just don't. it's like the running back room for them is just like a swap out. It's like a thing. It's not a consistent thing for them. The running game. And when you have a quarterback like Josh Allen who has a cannon and he can run too, it's like I guess you can see their mindset. Why go out for a running back? Why invest in a running back when our quarterback can run? He has a cannon for an arm. We got Stephon Diggs out there. We got Gabe Davis out there. Why would we? Just something to think about. And speaking of the Bills, they took an L against the Patriots on Sunday, so that was interesting. The Patriots finally looked like a competent offense for once. Matt Jones looked decent. Demario Douglas had a pretty decent game. The rookie, he had a pretty decent game. I was watching him. So I think he had like 4 or 5, 6 catches, something like that for 73 yards. So not bad for a rookie that hasn't really seen much time. And they just beat Buffalo. They beat them straight up. They beat them up. And Mike Gesicki got that touchdown late, in the end. His gritty's still pretty bad, but they got that victory there, and then recapping some of the other matchups, Chargers and the Chiefs. Chiefs, of course, taking that win. Chiefs looking really good right now. Defense is looking pretty good right now for Kansas City. Of course, the whole Taylor Swift stuff, which we do not endorse Taylor Swift on this podcast. So, hey, I'm all, happy for Travis Kelce and everything. That's going well for him. But I mean, NFL, please, enough with the Taylor Swift stuff. Thank you, please, and thank you. But in the aspect of the Chiefs, they're continuing to play good football. Only lost one game on the year to Detroit, and that was in the opener. So. We'll see how Kansas City continues to fare throughout the rest of the season. My only concern for them would be when we get to the playoffs, how the pass catching is going to go, the receiving game is going to go for them. Because, outside of, they have a true number one guy that you can go to. And in the playoffs, you're going to need that guy because, the defense is going to be much more tough. It's going to be guys going to be playing a bit more physical. The refs are going to let everybody play more. Right? It's going to be a lot more hand fighting and grabbing. It's going to be a lot more physical in the playoffs. So, that's just a matter of, can you have that guy that can kind of separate himself, that can fight through that contact, that can make himself get open and become a reliable pass catcher for Patrick Mahomes instead of having to think and dunk and trying to, just trying to traverse through everybody in the receiving core. You're going to have that guy like, hey, I can go to him like he used to be able to do with Tyreek Hill. Because people are gonna now. Travis Kelce, of course, he's always gonna get open anyway. But you still need somebody from your receiving core that can also make that that can take some pressure off of Kelce when you get to the playoffs. That can give you another threat also, right? So that's just something to think about for me. So now we're gonna do our Week 8 predictions. Pretty much here. I'm not gonna go through I wasn't gonna go through every Week 7 game. Some of them. I could say this. The 49ers right now look a little bit sketchy. The last couple of games, they lost to Cleveland and then to Minnesota on Monday night. Like, that's, so if you're a Niners fan, I wouldn't completely go into panic mode, but you might just want to be a little bit concerned about what you're seeing from the team. So that's just something to think about. And Minnesota's still, they sit at 3-4 right now in the season, so they're kind of trying to slip their way back into things here, trying to get some consistency going, try to get back into the NFC North race. That's still being headlined, of course, by Detroit. Because you look at it, the Bears did win. Shout out to Tyson Bagent, getting that win, getting that win there against the Raiders, right? On Sunday, the undrafted rookie there. I think it was undrafted. Yeah, undrafted rookie. Yeah, Tyson Bagent, Division II product. Hey, and that just goes to show you guys, like, no matter what level you're at, if you're playing sports, where it's football, wherever it is, you matter if you're a 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star, or if you're in Division I, Division II. Like, if you are good, if you work and you just put the effort in, you work and you make yourself noticeable, people are gonna find you. Scouts are gonna find you. You're gonna get. It just happens. So it's like that's just, you see examples of this all the time. Brock Purdy, another example, being the last pick of the draft last year. But anyway, moving on from that point. So Week 8 predictions for me right now. Honestly, this is gonna be interesting slate of games this week. It really is gonna be an interesting game. So you got the Texans and the Panthers. Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, right? I say the Texans take this. Carolina just hasn't shown me anything. I mean, I think Texans are gonna get this win, and I keep telling people I told people Houston would not just be some crappy team this year. Like they're gonna win some football games. I kept telling people that, and they are winning games. Not saying they're going to the freaking Super Bowl, but they're good. They were gonna be a decent team this year. I got the Texans in that game, right? And then the Bears and the Chargers. Chargers, well, the way Los Angeles is playing, I'm still going to take the Chargers right now in this game. That's going to be a Sunday night matchup. Why they have the Bears on Sunday Night Football, I have no idea. And then moving on from that point, we got the Bucks and the Bills. This is going to be, this should be an interesting game. Bills coming off a loss against the Patriots. They're going to want to get back right after that. So this is like their get back game. But this is actually tonight. This is Thursday Night Football on Prime Video, 8:15. So this will be an interesting matchup for sure. Tampa Bay, they need this win to get back into the race for the NFC South. The Bills just need reassuring that they are still a good football team. So that's it. And then, of course, the Falcons and the Titans, right? Like I mentioned earlier, I mean, with Ryan Tannehill being out, I got Atlanta winning this game, and I would have them winning this game anyway, even if he was playing, just because the Titans just are a train wreck. So Jags, Steelers, I'm going to pick the Jacksonville Jaguars in this matchup. Rams and Cowboys, I'm going to go with Dallas here in this game. They kind of getting back in the swing of things for themselves after some ugly losses, right? Vikings and the Packers. Now, this is a very important NFC North matchup right now. Right here we have, and both teams need this win. Both teams need this win. Vikings want to continue to roll how they've been, and this is important for them as far as the division is concerned, so they can jump up higher in the standings. And for the Packers, they just got to play better than what they've been playing at. They just haven't been playing really well at all. Jordan Love's kind of been struggling the last couple of weeks, so they want to get back right in this game against a Minnesota Vikings defense that isn't particularly all that good, but they played well against the 49ers last week. In certain aspects, right? Patriots, Dolphins. I'm gonna go with Miami here. Saints, Colts. Got to go with this will be an interesting game too. I don't even know if I could pick this game because the Saints, they're coming off a loss as well. The Colts coming off of that loss to Cleveland, so it'll be an interesting game for both teams here for sure. I'm going to go ahead and go with the Colts, the home team. I'm going to go with the home team here and go with Indianapolis getting this win. Jets and the Giants. Interestingly enough, this will be the first time that both of these two teams will meet coming off of a win. All the other previous matchups, they lost their previous game before playing each other. So this is an interesting stat I saw this morning I want to put in here. And Eagles at Commanders. Going to go with the Eagles here. Browns at Seahawks. I'm going to go Seattle. This game really could go either way. The way the Browns have been playing lately, but then going to the Link and that loud environment. I don't know if PJ Walker being a starting quarterback, and if the Browns offense will be able to muster consistent points and production. I don't know. I have to go to Seattle on that. The Ravens and the Cardinals going to go to Baltimore. Obviously, they're on the road. Bengals and 49ers. This is a very important game for both of these two teams. San Francisco's at home, and they usually play really well when they're at home. I'm going to go with the 49ers here at home. Chiefs and the Broncos. Chiefs. Raiders and Lions. I think Detroit gets back in the win column with this matchup here, in this matchup. So those are my Week 8 picks. And that kind of wraps us up today for Jay's Fifth Down on the show, guys. Thank you for tuning in, watching us. We're on Spotify, like I said, all audio platforms. You can catch us there, follow us, as well as here on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. do that, please. I would appreciate it. Join the family, and we will be updating you guys here as well. So make sure you guys follow me on the socials on Instagram as well, because I post stuff, where it's trades or, player injuries, whatnot. So just make sure you're following me there at Jay's Put Down Pod on Instagram as well as Twitter. Just stay updated as far as everything is concerned with that. And, like I said, tonight, Bucks, Bills, Thursday night football on Amazon Prime. So it should be an interesting game. So make sure you guys check that out as well. We will see you guys next time on the podcast. Thank you.